Al Mayadeen reports the deliberate attack on a hotel hosting journalists covering the Israeli war on Lebanon, killing several journalists, photographers, and technicians. The president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, closed the 16th summit of the BRICS bloc of developing economies on Thursday. And in Uruguay, promoters of the plebiscite, which intends to reform some aspects of Social Security, held their campaign closing ceremony in view of the national elections to be held next Sunday, October 27th. Hello and welcome to From the South. My name is Belen de los Santos. I'm from the teleSUR studios in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. The Lebanese television channel Al Mayadeen's correspondent reported a new Israeli aggression on freedom of the press as a hotel in Hezbollah, South Lebanon, hosting journalists covering the Israeli continuous attacks, was deliberately targeted by the Zionist occupying force. Footage shows the aftermath of the Israeli attacks on the group of journalists. Two of the victims killed in this action were Al Mayadeen cameras Chasman Nashar and broadcast engineer Mohamed Reda. Another mortal victim of this strike is the Al-Manar's cameraman Wissam Qasim. The aggression is nothing new for Israel, as dozens of reporters have been killed in Gaza and Lebanon since October 7th last year in an attempt to hide the truth of the genocidal policies of Benjamin Netanyahu. And the Israeli army confirmed on October 25th the death of another soldier in addition to the 4 soldiers reported killed in the fight against the Hezbollah group in a southern Lebanese village. The death of the 5th Israeli soldier occurred the previous day amid the ground offensive against the Iranian-backed Lebanese group. The army also reported that 3 other soldiers were wounded in separate incidents around the Israeli-Lebanon border. The injured were transferred in critical conditions to the hospitals since Israel launched its ground offensive in southern Lebanon in the early hours of October 1st. At least 29 Israeli soldiers have been killed in attacks near the border. Iran and Saudi Arabia are planning to conduct more joint military exercises in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden amid their growing warm relations. Iran's Navy chief, Rear Admiral Shahram Irani, informed that Saudi Arabia requested a combined exercise in the Red Sea. Coordination is underway, and delegations from both countries will hold the necessary consultations on how to conduct the exercise. Moreover, Irani stated that some Western nations are concerned because they have no justification for their presence in the region. Now we move on to other topics. At least 46 people lost their lives due to the tropical storm Tsunami, which affected the northern Philippines. At least 7 people were injured and others were reported missing due to the consequences of the torrential rains, which caused floods on the island of Luzon. The president of the country, Ferdinand Marcos, ordered the full mobilization of the armed forces to participate in the rescue operations. The authorities suspended classes in schools and public institutions throughout the island of Luzon. Moreover, Typhoon Tsunami paralyzed transportation and led to the cancellation of scheduled air flights. On Wednesday, the Chilean National Geology and Mining Service decreed a yellow alert for the Alto Biobíos commune due to an increase in the activity of Copenhagen volcano. According to the agency, during the last few days, the massif located on the border with Argentina emitted ashes, gases, and pyroclasts into the atmosphere. The instability led the authorities to raise the alert from green to yellow, which means that the population must be kept informed through the official channels of local and national authorities about the risk areas and the evacuation plans. And now let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. Russian President Vladimir Putin closed the 16th summit of the BRICS bloc of developing economies on Thursday. The three-day summit in the city of Kazan was attended by leaders of representatives of 36 countries, highlighting the failure of United States-led efforts to isolate Russia. The summit covered the deepening of financial cooperation, including the development of alternatives to Western-dominated payment systems, efforts to settle regional conflicts, and expansion of the BRICS group of nations. In these interventions, participants voiced concerns about the disruptive effect of unlawful unilateral coercive measures, including illegal sanctions, and reiterated their commitment to enhancing financial cooperation within BRICS. Faster, low-cost, more efficient, transparent, safe, and inclusive cross-border payment instruments built upon the principle of minimizing trade barriers and non-discriminatory access. And in this context, for its part, the government of Venezuela released a statement thanking the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, and his country for inviting the president Nicolás Maduro to the BRICS Plus summit in Kazan. In the statement, Caracas declared that Venezuela has the support of the countries participating in this summit to formalize its entry into its integration mechanism. But through an action that contradicts the nature of the BRICS, the Brazilian Foreign Ministry delegation, led by Ambassador Eduardo Paes Aboya, decided to maintain the veto that Bolsonaro applied on Venezuela for years, reproducing the hate, the exclusion, and the intolerance promoted by centers of Western power to prevent, for now, the entry of Bolivar's homeland to the organization. Finally, the statement closed by affirming that the Venezuelan people are ashamed of this inexplicable and immoral aggression from the Brazilian Foreign Ministry that maintains the worst of Jair Bolsonaro's policies against the Bolivarian Revolution, founded by Commander Hugo Chavez. On Thursday, Vice President Kamala Harris held a star-studded rally in swing state Georgia, where former President Barack Obama and rock legend Bruce Springsteen joined her final push for voters ahead of the November 5th elections. Harris cranks up the celebrity wattage of a series of concerts in battleground states in hopes of pulling away from rival Donald Trump. Springsteen and Obama each delivered barbs aimed at the Republican as they addressed a crowd of thousands in Clarkston, just outside Atlanta. Harris emphasized her middle-class roots, drawing contrast with the billionaire Trump, and said that she would prioritize battling inflation as president. "We will build a future where we bring down the cost of living, and that will be my focus every single day as a president of the United States," she stated. With less than 2 weeks to go before the November 5th elections in the U.S. presidential campaign, this phase is marked by the intensity of the political contest and a worrying increase in electoral violence. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump wage a tight battle for the swing vote in 7 key states as the Justice Department grapples with escalating threats against election officials. In parallel to political activity, the Justice Department has had to intervene in an escalation of violence that has evolved from simple phone threats and text messages to shootings and attacks. This week's The Election Threats Task Force has prosecuted 4 serious cases that illustrate the magnitude of the problem. Meanwhile, in Mexico, at least 16 people died after a clash after criminal groups and police officers in the southern state of Guerrero. The Secretariat of National Defense reported that in a first armed encounter in the municipality of Tecna de Galeana, which involved police officers, 2 people died and 4 more were injured. Subsequently, members of the Army and the National Guard confronted a criminal group that had previously attacked a military base in the same area, killing 14 gunmen. 16 vehicles were also seized, as well as handmade weapons, 15 long arms, a Barrett rifle, a machine gun, ammunition, and improvised explosive devices. Images show forensic experts working at the site of a car bomb explosion in front of the Municipal Public Security Secretariat that left 3 policemen wounded in the municipality of Acambaro, and members of the Mexican Army working at the site of another car bomb explosion in Jarecuaro, Guanajuato state. In February 2025, the Mexican government will initiate the program Health House by House, which will have more than 22,000 health professionals as part of the initiative. For many specialties, this project is an opportunity to raise public awareness and a way to make people feel protected and accompanied by the program. This program, led by President Claudia Sheinbaum, will provide free care for seniors affiliated with the Bienestar pension. The delegate of the welfare programs in the state of Mexico, Ernesto Armendariz, informed that recruitment of medical and nursing personnel has been opened to cover a little more than 1,600 positions that will be operating the new social program Health by House by House. Now we have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you will be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. In Uruguay, promoters of the plebiscite, which intends to reform some aspects of Social Security, held their campaign closing ceremony in view of the national elections to be held next Sunday, October 27th. Social organizations, which are members of the National Commission for the Yes, called on the Uruguayan people to support the plebiscite. The petition is also aimed at lowering the retirement age, equalizing the minimum retirement with the minimum wage, and eliminating the profit in the Social Security system, with at least 40% of the population supporting these changes. Likewise, the electoral ban has already been announced, prohibiting propaganda acts. However, there is still a high number of undecided voters, and the final result is uncertain.
This Sunday, the people will be able to put an end to the privatization of a fundamental human right, such as Social Security. The popular movement put 3 central points in favor of the workers. So, it is a very important struggle against the financial capital of this country. Therefore, the importance of it.
In Chile, starting on Friday, October 25th, the electoral ban is in force after a campaign extended for almost 2 months with view to the municipal and regional elections to be held on Saturday and Sunday. As of Friday, it is prohibited to hold events, demonstrations, or public meetings, as well as television, radio, or written propaganda through social networks and other similar media. The campaign was impacted by 3 factors: the growing climate of insecurity, the corruption scandal of the political elite, known as the audio case, which has hit the right wing, and the accusation of rape against the now former Undersecretary of the Interior, Manuel Monsalve, elements that, according to analysts, will have an impact on the outcome of the voting for mayor, councilmen, governors, and regional councillors. And the Executive Vice President of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, arrived in India to strengthen and consolidate ties of friendship and cooperation with the government of this Asian nation. Rodriguez arrived in New Delhi to carry out an extensive work agenda that will allow strengthening the relations of friendship and cooperation, as well as reaffirming the commitment to build a new world without hegemonies. In this regard, it is important to highlight that Venezuela and India have made significant progress in strengthening their bilateral relations to expand cooperation, such as trade, investment, and promotion of the alternative energies. In addition, both countries have signed several agreements in the pharmaceutical and energy industries. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and also on TikTok. For TeleSUR English, my name is Belén de los Santos. Thank you for watching.